Now behind me I'm going to grow a whole row of sweet potatoes all along here. An area of the garden that is underused, so I'm going to use this for just my main crops of sweet potatoes. And I want to show you how to grow sweet potatoes, because first of all, if you're in a cool climate or in a tropical climate, doesn't matter. I'll show you both methods in this video today, so you know how to grow it, because it's an important crop to grow. It's full of nutrients, one of the healthiest vegetables you can grow, and it does give quite an abundant crop. And it's pretty much a leave alone crop, because once you planted it, there's no way getting rid of it. It's like a weed. And it's the morning glory, it's the bindweed family is what we're talking here, but it's non-poisonous. Don't eat it raw though. Now I'm going to say this early on in the video, don't eat it raw, because it has certain alkaloids in there that inhibit certain enzymes that help our bodies break down proteins. So that's a really bad idea to eat it like in large quantities raw. Some people do eat it in salads, the leaves, but then they moderately. They don't gobble it up like crazy, because if that happens you can actually get very sick and it's poisonous. So don't do that. Okay, so there's two varieties here that I have. One is, now we get into growing the stuff now in a minute, I just need to mention this. Varieties is also very important. So go into your local shop and pick the variety that tastes good, and then just grow it from the actual. What will happen is you stick it into water, about that far into water, and then you have these little slips coming off the top, and you just break them off and stick them in the ground and they grow like crazy. So that's how you grow it from a variety, from a root. But generally speaking, the best thing you can possibly do is just take a cutting, any piece of cutting, and stick it in the ground and it'll grow like crazy, literally. And now variety is also important, taste, but also size matters. So here down in South Kerala we only have these really small, now granted these are young, but they don't grow much bigger than that. So when I got this variety from North Kerala, from our friend Binu, this is something we can use. This is great. So finally I have a sweet potato that is going to produce and, be able to feed us as well. Because, nobody's going to peel all these tiny ones, and they don't give much of a harvest as well. Okay, so in order to grow your sweet potatoes, a bit of a building site was here. It all depends on what kind of climate you're in and also what kind of soil you've got. So if you've got clay soil, then you're going to have to build ridges, because you need a free draining soil. And clay soil, of course, because of the particles being so small, tend to compact a lot, be close together. And then of course there's not much drainage and not much aeration. In sandy soil, actually you need to pretty much do the reverse. You need to kind of have it nice and flat, so it is already free draining, and you want there to be a certain amount of water in the soil as well. You want to make sure that you don't have any frost. You need a long growing season, so you're talking here 6 months minimum. Here in the tropics you're talking about 3 to 4 months, and then your sweet potatoes will be ready. And at the end of the video I'll tell you how to actually recognize when your sweet potatoes are ready to harvest as well. Because once you have them, you can just go and harvest for the rest of your life, because that you're never going to get rid of them. That's basically it. There are a few diseases as well. There's a weevil that affects them in the tropics, but there you would just basically do a bit of crop rotation and then you have no more problems whatsoever. Okay, let me just dig this for a while. Just loosen it up a bit, because roots, we want a bit of a loose soil as well. Now notice I'm not turning the soil, because I'm trying to keep as much of the soil structure intact, but at the same time loosening it enough that my sweet potatoes have a bit of space to kind of spread out a little bit. Go. Okay, so I've done my circle. So what I'm doing here in the tropics, I've created a bed, a circular bed, and this is a really good method, because I'm putting a taro root in the middle. So this taro is a little bit deeper down, and it can actually put its roots out like that. It's also going to get a lot of water. Now then the next step is I'm going to plant 6 sweet potato plants all the way around. That means I'm going to get the sweet potatoes all in this area. And the way I'm going to do it, because I have sandy soil, I'm just going to loosen up the bed And you saw me not actually turning the soil or breaking it up too much. I want most of the soil structure to be intact. I want these aggregates still to be pretty much intact. And then all I got to do is, you'll notice that actually from a cutting, all you got to do is you take off all the leaves that are actually growing along the sweet potato, and wherever there's a leaf, there's going to be a root coming out. And normally what should happen is you should be able to get a sweet potato from each one of those. So the idea here is to plant it lengthways in a little trench like that, cover it up, and just letting this tip stick out a little bit. And then it's still in a little hollow, so most of the water will concentrate where the roots are actually going to be. Now I've also done another patch over there whereby I'm only planting one or two into the soil, and the rest I'm letting grow. As you can see, it's actually even rooting already because it just started in the water for one day, which is really incredible. Now once I've planted those over there, I can actually see, I want to be able to compare, well, which one actually grows more of a crop. Do I get like way more potatoes this way, or do I get more that way? And I'll let you know in about 4 months time when I actually dig them up again. But for now I'm going to do the rest of them like this, because I have a feeling I'll get actually more roots that way as well. So that's it, just keep planting like that and it's done. Now you can grow them in a polytunnel. You need high humidity and you need a lot of heat and you need frost-free areas. So that's basically all you gotta have to qualify for actually growing your sweet potatoes. And I've even heard of people growing them in islands, so do by all means try it out. So 1 meter apart, every 20 centimeters, a sprig like this planted, and you will have great success. Then 6 months later you will probably be able to harvest them. But now I'll just show you quickly how to actually recognize when they're ready, so you can actually do that yourself as well. When are they ready to harvest? Well, it's very simple. All you got to do is go and look at the stem. This was actually, the sweet potato came off one of these, the one you saw early on in the video, and I just dug it out with a fork. But you'll notice here, when you see this stem, so you planted a sprig like that, but when you start seeing it swelling up like this, you just find a spot like that and then gently fork around, and usually you have between 1 and 3 sweet potatoes that'll come out of the ground. And that's it. Okay, this concludes the video. That whole area in the back now is going to be my sweet potato patch all along here. And literally I can just then come along once a week. I'll just keep planting every week a new little section. And then eventually what will happen is the sweet potatoes, as they grow, will make new roots, so secondary roots. And when I take the first ones away, those secondary roots will become sweet potatoes. And so then I have it staggered so well, because I planted as well at a staggered stage, that I will always have sweet potatoes. It's really simple, especially here in the tropics. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions on sweet potatoes, anything like that, please drop me a comment down below and tell me about your ideas of growing sweet potatoes. How do you actually do your sweet potatoes?